There's going to be a desire for quick clarity, but Pluto doesn't operate on quick timelines. Transformation unfolds slowly, stripping away illusion layer by layer. When something is finally seen clearly, it can't be unseen. On a collective level, this may translate into a more sober view of leadership or institutional narratives. But on a personal note, it may mark the end of a story you have been telling yourself. Acceptance here is not passive, it is a doorway to real change. So when we look at this body graph, it's quite interesting in how it's played out. You'll see that there's a lot of emotional energy that is activated in this, but you also have two pressure gates, gate 64 and gate 63. And why does that matter? Well, when you look at the head center, this is your outer authority. This is a place where you're sharing what you know with other people. This is where we find awareness. Awareness comes after we have sort of sat with something for a while. Doesn't come in a minute. It's not like the spleen. It comes over time. And that's basically what this energy is showing us. 64 and 63 are abstract energy and logical energy. It's asking for answers to questions that you have doubts about with gate 63. And with gate 64, we're looking at why did things happen the way they did? Why does it matter? And how can I use the lessons of the past when I move into my life going forward? But what we'll also notice here is that we only have pressure. This is only fuel. There's no awareness in this. And so it's very easy to want to act on this energy, to want to believe that somebody has the answers that we need, because the projection of the second line is that we are projecting on other people that they have the answers. And they may not have the answers. In fact, probably most times they don't. It can even be projection on you. Maybe you're being projected on to have the answers. Ultimately, what's happening in this situation is we're looking at this place where we want to have answers. We want to have something that feels secure, something that feels stable, and yet we're not able to actually get it. So there's a letting go of an answer in the now and moving into the concept that when the answer is ready, it will be given to us. And that's going to be one of the hardest things. But when we look at the fact that we have two of these pressure gates up top, and then we have all this emotional energy, this is the activations that could very easily get us into something where we are making promises, getting into commitments, especially with the 3740 channel, and that's connecting the will center to the solar plexus. These are emotional decisions about our material well-being, making promises that we may not necessarily commit, making promises on details and information that is not necessarily true. It could be very easy to want to believe that people are saying the truth. In fact, it could be very comforting for a second or two. But if we're acting on the energy of something that is not necessarily true, but it's something quick in the moment, then that's when we can get into situations where we can have long-term issues or consequences when we jump into something that's really important. We only have one chance to make a first impression, and that is something to really keep in mind, because clarity is not necessarily part of this lunar eclipse, but pressure to find an answer definitely is. And the answers that come from the head center or the awareness center, as well, the head and ajna, those three channels, the 63-4, the 61-24, and also the 64-47, comes over time, as I mentioned. And so it is one of those moments where you may not get the answers that you want. You may want the answers. You may be emotionally connected to wanting to get things sort of settled, to figure out what's happening, to find that clarity. And with Jupiter in the background, always there, it's been there for a long time, so I haven't really talked about it all the time. It's in gate 53, line 1, and then we have Chiron in gate 42, and this kind of brings this full channel where we do want to have new cycles. We want to have new beginnings, but there's a Chiron attachment to it, which means that there is some level of healing that is required to move through these new cycles. And it could be new cycles to heal ourselves, especially when we have Saturn in gate 25, line 5. This is a really interesting line. Saturn in gate 25, line 5 is basically saying, you know, we have the way things have always been done, the way that we have sort of run the country, or the way we have run our household, the way we have built our structures, the way we have constructed civilization. And then we have gate 25, which is individual energy. And this really talks about the concept that we're moving away from the structures, the predictability, the feeling that somebody else has it all handled for us, that we'll be okay because the people in government, the people in power, the people who are leaders, they're all going to take care of us, especially with the 3740. And what this is also saying is that that's not necessarily true. Saturn in gate 25, line 5 is giving us a huge message, and it won't be here much longer. So it really wants us to get the message. And the message is be in your body. Be in your body because that is where the truth lies. It gives you the intuition you need. It gives you the answers you need. It gives you everything you need. It gives you the clarity. But it also talks about the concept of separating your mind from your body. This kind of comes into the idea of, especially where this could be considered a flu season. A lot of people are getting sick over this kind of time of the year. Uh, and, when you get very sick or you have a bad flu or something, some illness is part of your life, there is nowhere else you can go but to be in your body. Suddenly the all the mind chatter that you always thought was so important becomes less important. It becomes not something that you care as much about because you're just in your body. Your body is feeling a certain way, and all you can feel is what it feels like. It's like you're taken off the playing field of life for a little while, forced into submission in some ways because it is your body telling you we need to look after this body. And so it's giving us a heads up that when we get out of our minds for a while, especially with this lunar eclipse with the 63 and 64, and get into our bodies, that's really where we can find the destination that we want to go, the energy we need to propel us forward, because it's only our bodies that are material in this world. Our minds will tell us many things, a lot of which it is not necessarily true. But our bodies will give us the clues as to where we need to go, what we're doing. And the more you get into your body, get into your intuition, your body consciousness, the way your body's trying to speak to you, the more you'll get answers that are clearer. Because in the beginning, it may feel uncertain. It's that moment where, especially with willpower, you push yourself to the absolute limit. We're all at that situation and for potential right now because we do all have a global will center. But it's that moment where you've pushed yourself, and then suddenly that project you needed to finish or that thing you needed to get over with is done. And a lot of people, they say their body just collapses. It goes into illness sometimes, burnout, something like that. And what this is basically saying is that those are the kinds of things that are way more important than what your mind is telling you. Those clues that say, oh, maybe I should go to bed early tonight because I'm feeling a little under the weather. Maybe I need to get rid of sugar for a little while because it doesn't make me feel good. These are all the kinds of things that, as we move into 2027, will be much, much more important. Why is that? Based on the 2027 theory, it's that we are moving into a time that is unstable. We are moving in a time where all the rules, regulations, the systems that we have grown to rely on are no longer going to be something that is holding up to the way it used to, because that was all built under the cross of planning. And so we're looking at how can we navigate the world, and it is through our bodies. It ultimately always leads us to our purpose. Our purpose is to live life. But if you really want to get into that destination of how you connect with your life purpose, it's to connect through your body. Your body is the material, is part of the material. Your body is connected to the Maya. Your body has a trajectory, a magnetic monopole that is built within it. And if you believe in human design, it's built within it. It puts us on our own trajectory. And yes, we can divert our path. I mean, Uranus talks about that. That's a sidetrack. But I also look at Uranus as being the sidetrack that takes us off our path and then puts us back on our path. But we've seen something that was important on our path. We always get the place where we need to go. And, if we want to regret all the decisions we made and we didn't do this or we didn't do that. Well, maybe we didn't need to do it because there was another destination part of our plan that we never would have reached had we continued on that same path. And so it's that job you thought you wanted until you didn't get it, but then something else happened that you suddenly said, well, maybe that job wasn't for me after all. I thought it was. I mean, in my heart and soul, I felt that that was absolutely the job for me, but maybe it wasn't after all. And so Saturn in gate 25, line 5, I'm spending a lot of time on that, but I think it's really telling us a message. Get out of the world and into your body because your body will lead you where you need to go. It is the body consciousness that we need to get into in order for us to move through the new trajectory that everybody will be navigating in the next years. We are less than a year out before 2027 shows up. And so the sooner we connect with our own intuition, our own body consciousness, our own body intuition, the better we'll be because we're connecting with something that is directly making our life easier when we're aligning with what our body actually wants. But when we move back to this particular lunar eclipse, there's a couple of things that are kind of interesting. And the first thing, as I mentioned, is that there is a lot of emotional energy. We have gate 36, which is abstract. We have 22, which is individual. We have 55, which is individual. We also have the 4037, which is tribal. So we have all types of energy. We have collective. We don't have logical energy because there is no logical emotional energy. So as far as emotional energy, we have it all. Everyone has a voice. All energies have a voice in this lunar eclipse. So it talks about all the different things, all the different ways that we are processing the concept that we're not getting the answers that we want, or we want instant answers, or we feel that we're not being supported, again, with the 3740 channel. It also talks about the concept of authenticity, especially with gate 22 and 55. Those are two energies that are very, very much connected with the idea of being authentic. Both of the energies are saying, be yourself, because if you aren't, people will notice. If you are trying to fake it, people will notice. The closer we get to the new global cycle, the more people will notice people who are fakes and people who are not. And the reason why that's going to be more of an issue is because with so much AI out there and so many true fakes, deep fakes, knowing that somebody's real, coming from a real perspective, is going to be even more valuable to all of us. But Mars in gate 55, line 1 brings even more energy into the equation. It's really talking about the idea of abundance comes from spirit. Abundance is dependent on spirit. Abundance in this case could be it could be financial, it could be material abundance, but most times it is connected to abundance of feeling that you are supported, feeling that you have enough. But again, in this lunar eclipse, when we always have that tribal background right until May, it many times might connect with the concept of material. Are you feeling supported? And the biggest question in this whole lunar eclipse is, are we feeling supported? And if we are not feeling supported, why are we not feeling supported? Is there somebody who should be supporting us that isn't supporting us? Should we be supporting ourselves? Do we need to cut ties because the people are not actually making good on the promises that they made? This could be government, this could be leadership, this could be a global perspective, but it could also be personal in your relationships where you feel that you are making compromises, you are coming through on your promises, but somebody else isn't. Again, with Mercury still retrograde, we're looking at more sitting with the energy as opposed to making big gestures or making big decisions on how to change our life. And that's the biggest key, especially with Mercury retrograde, with this confusion of gate 64 and this suspicion and doubt and feeling of no security and wanting some security. It will be easy to make decisions that will not play out in your favor. And so that is the biggest key to manage this lunar eclipse as you move forward. And there's one more piece to this equation that I think is extremely important. Now, this is from a global perspective, and I've connected this energy to the next, what is it, to the next new moon that we have on the 18th of March. So we'll be out of eclipse season and we'll be going into just regular standard, what you could say, lunation style. But what's happening for this lunar eclipse is that it's even more important not to just grab whatever you see, but please take notes. Take notes about what you see. Take notes about what you hear. Check it out. Is it true? Isn't it? Is it not true? You may get information that's very important to you. Venus in gate 36 line 4 is something that is huge, and that is reactivating that energy where the nodes were, where Neptune was, where all those energies were for so many years. It's really, really reactivating that energy. And Saturn was there not too long ago either. And it's basically saying there will be information that is really important for you to know about so that when a crisis or if a crisis comes in the future, you are prepared. This information can be very specific to what you have in your life, to what you need in your life. So being open and aware will serve you well. Again, not acting on the information because this is future information. This is not information for today. This is information from my perspective that is connected to sort of the last bit of the month when we get into the next lunation. And it doesn't have to be right on that day, but it is information that can help you navigate the energy in the future. Everybody will have a specific message, but with Venus, it's connected to yin energy. It's connected to your job. It's connected to your career. It could be connected to your relationships. It could be connected to how you make your money. From a global perspective, it can be connected to financial institutions. It could be connected to the economy of countries. It could be connected to big business. It could be connected to the stock market. It could be connected to all those types of things. And so there might be information from gate 36, line 4 that is valuable in the future. So be aware and take heed of anything that seems important. Write it down. It doesn't mean, again, acting on any information right now may not serve you well, but having it sort of in your toolbox for, if you need it in the future, will absolutely potentially serve you well. Wrapped around this whole lunar eclipse, and really the last time that we'll have Pluto in this energy, because the next lunation, Pluto will have moved onto the fourth line. We are now once more asked to accept what is. We are at now once more to look locally. What can I do in my current community? What can I do in my family? What can I do in my small microcosm of life? Don't look at the macrocosm. Pluto's asking us to transform our own life. And in that way, when we're happier, it will spread. Your aura will spread and it will spread into other people and they'll start to feel some level of peace. There's a lot happening right now. A lot of things are shifting. A lot of things are playing out in a bigger way. We are getting information in this lunar eclipse. It is showing us things that are important, but not everything that you get is going to be real. There will be a lot of noise as well. So the job for this particular lunation in this lunar eclipse is to be able to move through the noise, find out the golden nuggets that matter the most to you. And if you do, you'll have that tool, that thing that is really required for you as we move into the latter half of March 2026 and probably beyond. So with that said, I really do hope you have a peaceful lunar eclipse. And until next time, take care and bye for now.